Okay, good morning. Let's do the pre-market for 5/2/2019. This is Thursday. So on the weekly chart here, you can see that we were at the bottom of the range last night when we did the chart review. I was looking for pretty much this volume node right here, which we were on the top of to hold the market, and we've pushed up from there. We're actually up into this higher level volume node right here, pretty much into a little spot right here. It's hard to see, of a low volume node. That's typically where price gets stuck. Yeah, I expected probably to trade up into this higher volume node right here and either test the bottom or the top of it at least today. No guarantees. ATR is ticked up 24. That big bar moved us 2 points on the ATR. So we've got definitely more volatility happening. You can see the range has changed. We've pushed down, and the lower range here is kind of right here on this two-sided trading of this volume node and this volume node right here. Just to kind of give you an idea, so we take the ATR and we just kind of plot it from where we're at, and that gives us an estimate of how far we should travel in the day, either up or down. And that's kind of like the extreme of price. And basically we draw our levels inside of that range, so that we're not trying to draw levels everywhere on the chart, but that gives you an idea. Strong bar PPT's been busy overnight and pushing this thing back up. So on the daily, the 2938 area is visually appealing, and we'll look at it on another chart. So 2938 is basically this right on the top of this node right here, right across the tops of this, the bottom of this, and this volume node right here. So you can see overnight they've pushed up. The first stopping point was basically the bottom of this volume node right here. Slight little bounces off, forces its way through, and we're kind of testing the bottom of this node, or you can call it the top of this node, either way, and rejected at this point. And PPT is very active. You can see it sold back down and immediately got bought back up. So the buyers are here, right? And I talked about it last night. I would expect this to trade up into this volume node right here and test this. And this is actually our big volume node right here. So the better short trade is way up here against this volume node, and probably on the far side of it, because it lines up with this nice little top and these opposing bottoms right here. So I'd kind of watch that area for a short trade if you're going to try and get a couple points out of it. Once you get up above that, the volume nodes get a little bit smaller, but there'll still be some levels here, that I've got marked off. Just watch the highs and lows, or the tops or bottoms of the volume nodes. We had good volume yesterday. So anything else to show you there? So the sell-off right here, this was this is pretty thin. It's not going to be great resistance on the way back up. You can see that they broke structure on this volume node, traded in between the two volume nodes, pretty much testing the bottom of this node with the top of this node. We've now stacked up, right? All this trading happened on top of this, on this node. They finally break through. This node was trading on top of this. They couldn't hold it. Falls back through. But as far as like resistance, right, this was the only node up here. They just probably got exhausted at this point, and needed to take some inventory off. So the way that this trading works is they're buying and buying and buying, right? And if you look at the delta down here, you can see that they added from last night, about 7,000 contracts. Once they get too many contracts, they basically got to put it back into the market and take some risk off the table. And then once they basically get more cash on hand from selling what they bought back to other people, they'll take off and start to push the market back up. So it's just a game, right? It's an algorithm that they'll push and push, and they want to break structure so that it looks positive. People get on board, they're willing to buy, and then once those people are willing to buy, they basically sell it back to them so that they can reload and take it for another leg, right? Like I said, I think we talked about the 38 level. This is kind of like the better spot because of the volume up here and the amount of trading. So I would look for this maybe to be your better short location if you're going to try and short the market. And then of course you've got this big volume node right up here. That's going to add some of the resistance if we look on the larger chart with the profile. So 38's up here, which is right into this area, and then this area up here. So on the downside, the range isn't that big, but you've already gone through and hit this pivot. So I'd expect the next stop is the top of this larger volume node here, and then more recently you have this volume node right here, which would provide a nice long position, or this one, which is the bottom of kind of this node right here, and that's kind of the extent of the range. The next kind of node right here is this guy right here on the local time frame, so, or the most recent time frame, sorry. So keep that in mind when you're looking at these levels. If we get some more weakness that really start to push down, there's like a lot of air in this big run up right here, and I know it's hard to see, but it's hard to give you the whole context. Again, this is the bottom of this node. I've got a line already drawn in there. You've got a small node right there, but this would be kind of the place where they would try and hold it for the big bounce up, and where probably the most institutional traders will try and get on board, and you'll get a big bounce, because when you look back at this day, right, this is where it originated at, this big old spike up, this run. So I mean, somebody's going to be interested in buying that with a fury, right? And you'll get a huge bounce out of that. But you have to be patient in order to get it there, and that's really tough for most traders to wait patiently. That's why I put a lot of scalp levels on. You're going to get small bounces off of these volume nodes, and you can usually get a few ticks out of it and make some money during the day. You don't always reach all the good levels every day, so just keep that in mind. Delta's really positive this morning, so I mean, there's definitely some buyers. I gotta favor the upside, even though at the open you never know who's going to show up and who's going to trade. Trading's probabilities, right? What's the probability of getting a good trade at this level? So that's why you want to try and trade against the volume nodes. You want to trade with the other people. Just keep that in mind, and good luck on your trading today.